Hi class, this is Tanita coming to you with week 2 discussion question in psychopharmacology. So the first part was to discuss in detail the belief and main weaknesses of mental disorders regarding the causation by chemical imbalances in the brain. And the text gives a great example of a fifth grader in which the author consulted with a school counselor. So they were diagnosed by their physician as having ADHD, but the physician did not take the time to assess it across several other models. So they the parents were told that this chemical imbalance was the issue, and basically making them believe that the medication would just alleviate the symptoms that the child was presenting, which was staring off into space for periods of time in school and wandering around the classroom. Well, the child began the medication and it helped with the staring and inability to concentrate, but it also made the wandering worse. And the author and the school counselor decided to get the client additional help with concentration, and uh, through their assessing it over several models, were able to get the child to be more focused, and it was more effective than just the whole chemical imbalance. So I wanted to just say chemical balance falls under what can be referred to as the explanatory fiction that's often found in the medical model of treatment, because we use terms and terminology as a one-stop fix, and it's just not the truth across the board. We need to definitely do work and assess and uh, get the right help for our clients. Um, it is important that we know that we have to exhaust all of these possibilities. So, um, because a chemical intervention may alleviate symptoms, it's not correlated to a leveling of chemicals that were in balance. And these are things that, as clinicians, we need to know. Second part of this week's discussion question, we were asked to discuss, let's see, the ethical concerns with pharmaceutical companies being allowed to advertise directly to consumers. So, first and foremost, the absolute thing that stands out is the conflict of interest, because um, big pharmaceutical companies are advertising to people, and you see commercials every day, every night. And the thing is, we don't know, like, the interest of are they acting on the interest of safety and effectiveness, or is it profit? And also, um, we give much information to the consumers in a quick, couple of minutes of advertisement, but the education is lacking. And then you have a bunch of people who want this medication because they feel like it's what they need. And there does need to be a more responsible and more engaged educational piece, so that they will have all the facts, not to mention all of the side effects that come with the drugs which are advertised. So direct advertisements to consumer, they reinforce the medical illness model to the consumers, where they are not considering other avenues, but thinking this will be my one-stop shop. So, and ethically responding to that, I think that the direct consumer advertising needs to have a lot more responsibility and thought when it comes to how their advertising affects the consumers, who are often in desperate situations and want to just relieve whatever it is that they have going on. Lastly, is the we were asked to talk about tolerance. the different types of tolerance. There are so many. Psychopharmacology is very detailed. So we have metabolic tolerance, which increases the enzyme in a metabolic drug. Cross tolerance, this is when a person takes a similar drug and gets a reduced response to the buildup of a similar compound. Cellular tolerance, the adaptation of receptors in the brain to a particular drug. Associative tolerance, tolerance to a drug within a specific context, but not necessarily in all settings. And behavioral tolerance, which is state dependent learning. So I'm reading this from our PowerPoint to just state that the top in general, we need to be aware of how the different types of tolerance to medication affects the absorption of the medication, therefore affecting the effectiveness of the medication. And lastly, I will give my Christian worldview, which basically immediately brought me to the wisdom of Proverbs 4 and 7, which basically states, wisdom is the principal thing, and therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. It's very important that it's not enough to just know, but we have to understand what we're doing if we're going to be great clinicians. So that's my discussion question for this week. Thank you very much for listening, and have a blessed day.